Welcome back to the channel, General Hospital fans. Today, we're diving into shocking twists, explosive secrets, and the drama that could change Port Charles forever. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next. There is something so deeply personal about watching a character you have grown to care for face such heartbreaking challenges, only to discover that the very thing destroying her life might not be real after all. Britt has been through so much, and these latest developments feel like a genuine turning point that could give her the fresh start she truly deserves. For years, we have watched Britt carry the heavy burden of knowing she carried the Huntington's gene. It changed everything about how she lived her life, how she approached relationships, and how she saw her own future. I remember thinking how brave the writers were to tackle such a serious medical issue with such care. But now, with these new revelations, it seems the story is taking us in an entirely different and much more hopeful direction. Lucas has been the one bringing explosive new information that is about to shake Britt's world, and I, for one, cannot wait to see how she processes it all. The discovery that the syringe Joe tested from Britt's room contained nothing more than saline solution is absolutely shocking. It proves that Britt was never receiving any experimental treatment for Huntington's at all. Instead, it was all a cruel manipulation by Cullum and Sidwell to keep her under their control while they pushed forward with that dangerous synthetic reaction project. I have to admit, when I first heard about this, I felt a mix of anger and relief. Anger because no one deserves to be toyed with in such a vicious way, especially not someone as complex and ultimately caring as Britt. Relief because this opens the door for her to finally be free from that terrible shadow hanging over her. Joe didn't come right out and name Britt when he spoke with Lucas about the saline solution, but anyone who has followed these characters for years could see that Lucas immediately sensed the connection. Lucas has always had that protective instinct, especially when it comes to people he truly cares about. I believe he will stay deeply involved in this storyline, and his support is going to be crucial when the full shock hits Britt. The idea that Lucas and Joe are actively searching for her now adds such a layer of urgency and warmth to the plot. It shows that even in the middle of all this danger, there are good men willing to step up and do the right thing. Of course, the situation remains tense because Cullum and Sidwell are still out there looking for Britt. Their continued pursuit creates this constant feeling of threat that keeps the story moving at a thrilling pace. I keep asking myself, will they manage to find her before Lucas and Joe can get to the truth? The answer seems to be leaning toward more complications ahead. But I have faith that the good guys will prevail in the end. That's one of the things I love most about General Hospital. After all these decades, no matter how dark things get, there is always a thread of hope and justice running through the narrative. What fascinates me most is how Britt's recent symptoms, the trembling hands, and that frightening collapse while she was helping Rocco escape might not be connected to Huntington's at all. This changes everything we thought we knew about her condition. Could she be dealing with something entirely different? Something treatable? I think the answer is yes, and that possibility fills me with optimism. After everything Britt has endured, including the tragic loss of Marco, she deserves a real chance at a healthy, happy life. The way the writers are building toward this big summer reveal feels both clever and compassionate. When Britt finally learns that Cullum and Sidwell tricked her with ordinary saline instead of any miracle drug, her thoughts will naturally turn to Marco. My heart aches for her when I imagine that moment. She will feel even more devastated knowing he died trying to steal something as simple as salt water, thinking it was a cure. But I also believe that realization will be followed by an enormous sense of relief when new tests confirm she does not have Huntington's disease. The years of fear and uncertainty can finally start to lift. This is the kind of emotional payoff longtime viewers like me live for. I have always appreciated how General Hospital weaves medical drama with personal relationships so effectively. Lucas stepping up like this reminds me of the strong family bonds that have always been at the heart of the show. Even when characters make mistakes, there is often redemption and growth. Britt has certainly had her share of complicated history, but seeing her get this second opportunity feels right. It proves that the past does not have to define the future, no matter how heavy it has been. The search for Britt by Lucas and Joe is creating new layers of trouble that I find genuinely exciting. Every episode seems to raise the stakes just a little higher. Will they reach her in time? What new obstacles will Cullum and Sidwell throw in their path? These are the questions that keep me coming back day after day. I have confidence the writers will handle the upcoming shocks with the same skill they have shown so far, balancing suspense with heartfelt moments that make the characters feel real. One thing I particularly enjoy about this arc is how it challenges what we thought we understood about Britt's health. For so long, the Huntington's diagnosis defined her choices and her fears. Now we see that diagnosis itself may have been part of a larger deception. This kind of twist keeps the show fresh even after all these years on air. It reminds me that in life, and in Port Charles, things are rarely as straightforward as they first appear. There is always another layer waiting to be uncovered. As someone who has watched Britt evolve from a more antagonistic figure into someone with real depth and vulnerability, I am rooting hard for her happiness. The upcoming revelations about her health and the continued pursuit by dangerous forces promise some of the most compelling episodes we have seen in recent memory. I truly believe this summer will bring Britt the chance to rebuild her life on her own terms, surrounded by people who genuinely care about her. Lucas's involvement feels especially meaningful. He has his own history and his own way of approaching problems with both intelligence and heart. His growing suspicion and determination to help Britt show the kind of quiet heroism that makes these characters so endearing. I keep wondering how their relationship might develop once the full truth comes out. Will this shared experience bring them closer? I suspect it just might, and that possibility adds another layer of warmth to an otherwise tense situation. Even with all the danger from Cullum and Sidwell still looming, I remain hopeful. General Hospital has taught me over the decades that love, friendship, and determination can overcome even the most calculated schemes. Britt's story is heading toward a major turning point, and I, for one, am clearing my schedule so I don't miss a single episode. The saline solution revelation is just the beginning of what promises to be an unforgettable chapter for one of the show's most resilient characters. There is something beautifully human about watching Britt face these truths after years of living under a false cloud. It speaks to anyone who has ever carried unnecessary burdens or lived with fears that turned out to be unfounded. The writers are doing something special here by mixing medical intrigue with deep emotional resonance. I have no doubt that when the full impact hits, it will be one of those moments longtime fans will talk about for years to come. Of course, this new path is far from simple. Lucas continues to bring explosive information that is about to change Britt's world forever. The discovery that the syringe Joe examined from her room contained only saline solution has shaken everything we thought we knew. Britt was never receiving any real treatment for Huntington's. It was all a calculated deception by Cullum and Sidwell to keep her under their thumb while they advanced their dangerous synthetic reaction project. I felt such a surge of anger when I learned this, but also tremendous relief. No one should have to live under such cruel manipulation, especially not Britt, who has shown remarkable resilience despite her flaws. Joe did not name Britt directly when speaking with Lucas about the saline, but Lucas immediately sensed the connection. His protective nature will keep him deeply involved, and I suspect his support will be vital as the full shock unfolds. Lucas and Joe's search for Britt adds such warmth and urgency to the story. It reminds me of the best parts of General Hospital, good people quietly fighting for what is right even as danger swirls around them. What truly excites me now is Britt's growing resolve to fight back. She is ready to take revenge by publicly revealing that Cullum is the one responsible for Marco's death. This decision marks a significant shift in her character. After years of being controlled and living in fear, Britt is choosing to confront her enemies head-on. I admire this fire in her. It shows real growth and proves she is no longer willing to be a pawn in someone else's game. When she exposes Cullum, it will send ripples throughout Port Charles and intensify the ongoing conflict with Sidwell. This revenge plot highlights a new obsession tied to the escalating war between Cullum and Sidwell. Their pursuit of Britt is becoming more aggressive, pulling everyone deeper into a web of threats and secrets. I keep asking myself how far they will go to silence her before she can reveal the truth. The tension is building beautifully, and I have no doubt the writers are preparing some unforgettable confrontations. Will Britt manage to stay one step ahead while preparing this new life with Rocco? The answer seems filled with both peril and promise. Britt's recent symptoms, the trembling hands and collapse while helping Rocco escape, now take on new meaning. They may not stem from Huntington's at all. The possibility that she faces a different, treatable condition fills me with optimism. After the saline revelation and new tests, Britt could finally be freed from that terrible diagnosis. Imagine the weight lifting from her shoulders. She deserves this second chance to live fully, without the shadow of a fatal disease hanging over her. The loss of Marco will hurt even more when she realizes he died for ordinary saline. Not a miracle cure, but that pain may fuel her determination to expose the truth. I have always appreciated how General Hospital balances high-stakes drama with heartfelt personal stories. Britt's evolving relationship with Rocco and her growing closeness to Lucas adds such emotional depth. Lucas's involvement feels meaningful and natural. He brings intelligence and heart to every challenge. I wonder if this shared experience will draw Lucas and Britt even closer. Their connection has always had potential, and these events could be the catalyst that turns it into something lasting. As Cullum and Sidwell continue their search, the complications multiply. Britt's plan to publicly accuse Cullum of murdering Marco raises the stakes dramatically. It proves how personal this battle has become. I believe this confrontation will force long-hidden secrets into the light and create some of the most compelling episodes we have seen in years. The writers are handling this arc with real skill, mixing medical intrigue, revenge, and redemption in a way that feels authentic to the spirit of the show. After decades of loyalty to General Hospital, I remain hopeful even when the danger feels overwhelming. Britt's story is heading toward a major turning point. She is preparing a new life with Rocco while gathering the courage to strike back at those who hurt her and Marco. The saline deception, the continued threats from Cullum and Sidwell, and Lucas's steady support all point to an unforgettable summer ahead. Britt has earned her opportunity to heal and rebuild. I cannot wait to see her embrace it.